What's up, YouTube family? It's Chris Davis, the Creature Preacher, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about soaking with you guys here and just how important it is. I try to soak my reptiles at least weekly. Sometimes we don't get to do that, but especially in times where they're shedding their skin. A couple of my reptiles, like my bearded dragon and my Savannah monitors and my blue tongue skink as well. It's very important for them to, have good quality soaks, bath time, during shedding, and just on a weekly basis. And I just wanted to talk about some of the benefits on that, and I'll show you guys a little video of kind of what that looks like for me. I am not able to soak in my bathtub as I would like. It's probably the easiest thing to do, but my wife, with kids taking baths and stuff like that, just doesn't work out for me. So I soak my reptiles in tubs with some warm water, and let them hang out there for a little bit. And of course, with reptile soaking is important. Like I said, shedding, just that growing process, when they're getting rid of their skin. Sometimes the shed gets stuck on there, and a good soap, quality soap, will get that off. Sometimes I've had my blue tongue skink, it seems like he's sometimes the hardest to get his shed off, and I keep his tank decent humidity and all that good stuff, but sometimes I've had to take a towel and just kind of wrap him in a warm towel to really get that soak off, and that shed off after a good soak. So that's one aspect of it. Hydrating for like the bearded dragon, they don't drink necessarily a lot, and they will only drink from moving water. So a weekly soak, getting in the water, helps them keep hydrated as well. So it's very important for them. And then another aspect, with my Savannah monitor, that the soaking time provides this taming, for him. And the warm water is very good for, of course, shedding, but the warm water also is good because he will prefer to be in my hand as opposed to the water. They're not really swimmers or anything like that. So that is building trust with him, getting him in my hands and a little bit more familiar with my hand. One thing that I specifically do with my Savannah monitor that I'll show you here in just a second is, rub his tail when he is soaking, because that's one of their defense mechanisms. And so just getting him used to me touching his tail, things like that, is something that I do during times of soaking. But I wanted to take the conversation a little further. One thing before I go there, cleaning as well. Of course, it's nice, for them to have a good soak to clean. And I've thankfully never had like mites or anything like that. But if you've got any issues with that, soaking is a part of that, healing process as far as getting rid of the mites. And so that's another aspect, this cleaning. So 4 things: shedding, hydrating, taming, and cleaning. 4 benefits of soaking. But I want to take the conversation a little further and just talk about soaking as people. And if you're not familiar with the term soaking from a Christian standpoint, soaking is basically spending time in the presence of God. And so it can be where you're soaking and just listening to instrumental music and just kind of being there. And with me, of course, like I told you guys, this is a journey for me. So I woke up this morning and I remembered that I had to, soak my reptiles today and get them a bath and all that good stuff. But the Lord just kind of reminded me of something that He asked me to do this year, is to spend more time soaking. The metaphor of soaking dishes. Sometimes when you have a dish that has a lot of caked on stuff, like a casserole or something like that, you have to soak that dish before that food is able, that hard exterior is able to come off. And so people that keep reptiles, we are familiar with the benefits of soaking, but the benefits of soaking in the presence of God are about the same as far as for us as individuals. You know, we have what's called this exterior of our old selves when we become Christians. And sometimes it's a process of a growth process, just as it is with a reptile. You know, a growth, they shed in the growth process. And so that shedding is them growing. And when we're growing and getting ready to take on another level, you know, just spending time soaking, however that looks for you, just spending time kind of basking in the presence of God is absolutely necessary to get that old stuff off, that stuff that is stuck on us, to get that stuff off so that we can grow to our next level, go to our next potential. And so we need that time. Absolutely. It's imperative for us to do that, as well as, you know, for hydrating, you know, for keeping us. And I miss my reptiles, but sometimes a gentle mist is not good enough. Sometimes you need a good soak. And then, you know, taming, you know, in the video, I'm very, you know, gentle with my animals in that taming process where, you know, with my Savannah, where he's building trust. Soaking sometimes is building trust with the Lord, because it's not about what we're saying, what we're doing in that moment. It's simply about being with him in his presence. And so in his gentle nudges, his gentle touches in those hard places, in those, like I said, the tail is a defense mechanism. It's a protected place for the Savannah monitor, right? But as a keeper of that Savannah monitor, I am wanting to build trust with him and touch him in those scary places for him, and let him know that it's okay, that there's no harm going to come to him. And in our soaking, I feel like the Lord does the same thing. You know, he nudges those hard places, those protected places in times of soaking. And then just cleaning, you know, the scripture says, wash me in the water of your word, you know, and his voice, you know, over us in that time of soaking is very important. So I wanted to kind of tie in some things here as far as some thoughts that I had about the way I keep why reptiles inspire me in different ways, you know, and what they teach me about the world, what they teach me about this life that I'm living, this Christian life, what they teach me about creation. And this is one of those moments where, in doing something that's absolutely imperative for my reptiles, but looking at what I'm doing for them in the context of my relationship with the Lord. So I encourage you guys, if you don't know what soaking is, you have no idea what that is, you can probably Google some resources. I put on IHOP International House of Prayer. There's a live stream that it's 24/7. There's worship going on. And so sometimes when I'm in those soaking moments, I will put that on, or I will get on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you have, and look up instrumental Christian music, and just be. I think that we too often forget about the fact that Jesus is Emmanuel. He's God with us. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just soaking in his presence, letting him wash over us, letting him touch those hard places, letting him remove the exterior layers of our life, the old man, if you will. Let that die off so that we can go to the next level. So just a little thought on soaking, and for those that are, you know, keeping reptiles, make sure that you're giving your reptiles, you know, baths. For those that don't keep reptiles, make sure you're giving yourself baths. No, seriously, just think about that. Take some time to just soak in the presence of God. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, continue to go with me on this journey. Thank you all so much for your support.